Hey guys, Fatiguu here, and today we will be looking at episode 1 of my new Cataclysm dungeon guide where we will be breaking down the Vortex Pinnacle. Let's get started. I don't recommend you start running this instance until you're in the level range of 82 to 85. This is because the trash in this instance will be level 82 and the bosses will be level 84. There are 3 bosses in this instance, and clearing it should probably take you about 30 to 40 minutes. Starting things off, this instance doesn't start too complicated, but it's definitely more complicated than the stuff you were seeing in Wrath at this dungeon level. The instance starts off with a 5 pull. I mean, don't see a lot of instances starting off with 5 pulls in Wrath, especially when you're not 85 yet, so I thought that was really cool. To do this opening pull, you're going to want to take out the 2 casters on the side first. This is because it'll do more damage to the tank than the 3 melee mobs in the middle. And they have mana. I mean, and anything with mana is just annoying. Isn't that enough to take them out first? For this instance, we have a level 85 Pally tank, and it's kind of unfair, I know, to have a level 85 tank when all the rest of us are 82 in a normal dungeon, but he was nice enough to come along, and that was really cool of him. In this instance, I'm playing a survival hunter, and yes, I know there is no explosive shot on my hotbar. Don't yell at me. I'm going to put it there about halfway through the instance because I literally spec to survival on this guy right before we came and did this because I didn't feel like doing this as Beast Mastery. So I'm sorry for all you elitists that are going to point that out. For this next pull, it's basically just 2 copies of the middle melee guy you saw in the last pull. Just tank and spank, DPS him down, and don't worry about anything except the kill order that your tank gives. You see over there, you'll see a guy that looks like an air elemental, and that is a Twilight Lurker. You don't need to attack him, you don't need to worry about him. What you're going to do when you pass him is you're going to do a thing like feign death. He won't attack you, you don't attack him, it'll just be a waste of time if you try to kill him. With this pull here, the Wild Vortex will try to throw you off the side. Don't worry, you won't die, you'll just get in a tornado that will throw you back up on the platform. This is probably the most complicated pull up to the boss because of the throwback. The first boss you'll encounter is Grand Vizier Ayrton. He's not too hard except for an ability where he'll pull all party members to him in the middle with surrounding vortexes. Alright, so looking at this boss in real time, he's really not that hard at all. As you notice when we start the pull here, he's going to be encircled by these vortexes. These will cause damage to the party throughout the entire fight, so you probably want to stay as far away from these as you can. It's a big perk that he doesn't do any cleave damage, so the party can pretty much stand wherever they want. They can stand in front of him, behind him, they won't take damage directly from him, they will only take damage from the vortexes. Every now and again in the fight, as you'll see in a couple seconds, he will pull the vortexes towards him. This will pull all party members in this little ball taking AoE damage from the vortexes. I recommend any tanks pop their cooldowns here if they don't think their healers can handle it because this does cause quite a bit of AoE damage, to the raid. Going back is just the same thing. What I recommend is that you have your party stand in a little ball here like us, as this will keep everyone contained and in range of the healer. This will minimize damage from the vortexes, and when they pull everyone towards the middle, everyone will be in the middle already, so there will be no reason for anyone to take extra damage as they're being dragged towards the boss and in the middle. That is the entire fight. Besides that, it's just a straight take and spank and DPS. Right after the first boss, one thing I really like about this instance is it's going to throw you into this series of twisters to bring you up to the next platform onto the second stage of the instance. I really like this instance because of that, because of the design and really the sheer awesome beauty of it. I mean, look at it. It's all like levitated on platforms. Really well designed, a really well put together instance. I gotta give Blizzard props on this one. It's really awesomely put together. Now, this pull you're seeing right here is probably the hardest pull of the instance so far after the first boss. It's a 5 or 6 pull AoE pull, and you really want to make sure your tank has aggro before you start attacking like any AoE pull, or you will easily pull aggro. The only thing these guys do in terms of party damage is this big storm cloud that hovers over all the other party members, causing damage to them over time, kind of like a void zone, except it doesn't instantly kill you, and it gives you little warnings that you're dying move. What you don't want to do during this is be like me and go to answer a text message and not move, because that would be the wrong thing to do, because as you see, I almost die, as our other party member over there decides to eat a cheeseburger and watch me nearly die. That was pretty awesome. This next single pull trash pull is pretty straightforward. All you want to do is have your tank pull this dragon out of his circle of healing, because as it's self-explanatory, when he's in there, he'll be getting healed and your DPS won't be able to do any damage to him. So keeping him in there is a very bad idea. Once your tank gets aggro and pulls him out, just DPS him all the way down. Another fun thing about this fight is if you stand in that circle, you'll actually be healed. So if for some reason your healer decides to be an asshole or decides to be lazy, you can run over there and get your own heals. After this pull, you have another fun, rite of passage type thing to go on to the next stage of the instance, whereas you go through this stairwell, and there are sort of little walls of wind, I would call it, that are blocking your way, and what you want to do is just do a ranged attack on those orbs that control the wind, and you'll be able to pass right through and continue on with the instance. If you don't, you won't be able to pass. The next boss is Altaurus. What you want to do is tank him facing away from the party, as he will cause a cleave, but every now and again he'll turn around and cast a chill breath on the party, which the healer will naturally have to heal through. Not only do you want to tank him with the raid behind him, you want to tank him upwind, and you'll see what I mean by that in a second. It will cause massive bonus haste to the rest of the party. So looking at this fight in real time, immediately you'll want to have the raid run behind him, because immediately once he starts hitting the tank, he will cleave the raid and do damage. Sorry about that add-on error there if that interrupted your viewing pleasure, because that is what I care about. So just start DPSing him upwind. As you can see, we're getting a massive haste buff that is really just making the DPS outrageous. When the wind shifts, you want to shift your tanking to go with the wind, because it will shift a lot during the fight. Don't be like me, and don't get afraid when he turns around to blow the chill at you. Do not move, just stay. It's highly likely your tank did not lose aggro, and he's just turning around to do the chill damage. As you saw at the start of the fight, I was very paranoid that someone pulled aggro and that we were all going to wipe and die. It's okay, it's supposed to happen. Another fun part about this fight is that when you're actually running upwind, it actually slows you down. And when you're running with the wind, it speeds you up and of course gives you the awesome haste bonus, which allows you to DPS him down incredibly fast. For the next trash after the instance, you're always going to want to follow the same pattern. Attack the adepts first. The adepts will do massive healing to the rest of the group of mobs over there, and they will be actually a little bit hard to take down if you don't get them right off the bat, because they will start healing each other and it gets really annoying. You really want to focus fire them right off the bat, and once they're dead, it'll be smooth sailing for the rest of the pool. Right now, in my opinion, is the hardest part of the instance. Make sure when you're coming up to this pull, you do not run in front of the tank before he gets aggro. There are these little stars that will shoot arcane barrages all over the raid. You want to DPS these down as fast as possible, and if you're a hunter like me, feign death as soon as you get aggro. This is probably the hardest on your healers, especially your first time going. You will probably not successfully do this, and by successfully I don't mean wipe, I mean nearly die, because it's just a surprise how much damage these guys actually do to the raid. Just keep AoEing them down, and you'll be okay to get through it. It's hard on the healers, though. Very, very hard. For these trash pulls with the electric triangle pyramid over the group of mobs, you still want to follow the same kill order of killing the adepts first before going on to the rest of the group. But what you want to do is you want to tank them outside the pyramid. The pyramid will not give you a buff or a debuff, but what it will do is if you're tanking the mobs inside, for every mob inside that electric pyramid area, every spell or damage you do to a mob will be redirected somewhere to either a party member or to another mob. It just will not do sufficient damage to the mob that is standing inside the pyramid. This will make this pull 10 times more annoying than it needs to be. Tank them outside of the electric pyramid and follow the same kill order, and your group will do just fine on this pull. But the electric pyramids absolutely, positively suck. The last pull you're going to have before the final boss is another one of those arcane barrage star pulls. This is a kind of a smaller pull, but it still has the same velocity of arcane barrages coming at your raid. We handled this one a little bit easier because I think it's a little bit smaller. But after that, you're right at the final boss. The last boss in the instance you're going to fight is Assad. He has an ability of a chain lightning, which is self-explanatory because it will attack everyone in the raid that's standing near each other. What you want to do is spread out, and I'll explain the Malygos like boom during the battle. What you want to do immediately when you start the fight is have your raid spread out. He most likely will not cast a Chain Lightning yet, but if he decides to be an asshole and do it, which he probably won't because boss mechanics usually don't work like that, you will be prepared and your raid won't instantly die. But the Chain Lightning is actually pretty easy to raid through, and that will not be your hugest problem of the battle. This will be your hugest problem of the battle. When he casts this grounding field, you want to have your party run to it immediately. This is the Malygos like boom that I was talking about in my little pre-battle scheme that I give you there. If you don't run in there, you will die immediately. The first time I did this instance, we had a DPS who decided to worry more about the damage meters than run to the grounding field. Why he was worrying about the damage meters and a leveling 5-man heroic, I have no idea. Probably to make his EP a little bit bigger. But he didn't get there and pretty much got obliterated by electricity. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to get obliterated by electricity. As soon as you see that grounding field, you run to it. The reason why I call this the Malygos like boom is because for those of you who raided Wrath and raided around a time when Malygos is actually relevant, you had to go into the bubble when Malygos would pretty much obliterate everything with electricity and instantly kill anyone who wasn't in the protective bubble. Now, I think that's a pretty good analogy because for people who have raided, they're really going to know what you're talking about and what to do when that grounding field appears. Don't be an EP-ing asshole and worry about the damage meters. Get to the grounding. Now, that's pretty much it. He'll cast Chain Lightning. Make sure your party is spread out. And that's pretty much it for the instance. This is a really fun instance, guys, and I recommend you definitely try it. All these instances in Cataclysm are really, really a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Please check out my channel if you haven't already. I got a lot of Cataclysm videos up there. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to me. And, of course, rate and comment on this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Fatiguu out.